My guest today is Dr. Josie Ahlquist, CEO and principal of Dr. Josie Ahlquist Incorporated. And we're going to talk about conferences. Welcome to Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager. I'm Jenny Lee Fowler, award-winning social media professional, author, and podcast host, and a recognized voice across the social media marketing industry. Social media managers are navigating the wild, ever-changing world of higher ed communications, and I'm here to share the real stories and lessons behind the posts. Each episode explores the challenges, strategies, and untold moments that come with running social media accounts in today's digital landscape. Let's get into it. Dr. Josie, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jenny. We probably should have started recording before because we were chit-chatting away.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's more delight and joy to come in our conversation. Josie, tell us more about your work with higher ed.
I mean, you and I are digging the trenches in social media. I'm always an explorer and a researcher on understanding what's happening on the social side, but not just the trends, but supporting the humans behind the work. It's like football players with the masks on that you don't see their faces. But like there's so many group hugs that are necessary in addition to the skill set work. On the other opposite end of the spectrum, my team and I support campus leaders often. Not only am I the interpreter of culture to campus pros, but I'm also trying to coach up executives, not only just on the tactics, but the cultural nuances of how digital communication is changing, especially for them to show up. So, and then you and I, way back in the day, built a little program called the Cohort.
You built the program. I was was glad to be invited on. It was so good though. That was a really great experience. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm an educator at heart. So, we're always putting out content just to help people.
Yeah, I love the way that you described what you do, though. I feel like it's very different. You're almost like the chief morale builder or the chief culture community builder. I like that a lot.
Well, it connects to the topic today because so much of it happens at conferences, virtual and in person. So I'm excited to dig in.
Well, thanks for that seamless transition, Josie. I know you've done a lot of work with conferences, especially those geared toward higher ed. So can we talk about the big ones, the ones that seem to be nationally recognized? And they're like the acronyms that everyone says when I'm at conferences. I feel like AMA.
I know. It's like there's going to be a quiz.
Can you sort of break it down and give us the basics of each one?
Yeah, and just a quick lens on the NASPA side. I come from student affairs originally. It was at a conference when I was a grad student in 2005 or 6 that I fully drank the Kool-Aid, not only of this association and that conference, which I chaired last fall.
That's right. Yes, we should mention that.
It was integral into my career. And so I know the power of these educational experiences away from your day-to-day. And I mean, I was an early student leader going to those student council conferences and stuff. So I already was such a learner, give me all the things. But I've definitely learned over time in different pockets of higher ed and just going to conferences, some tips and tricks. So I hope you can walk away with that too. But like Jenny, you said, there is literally and thank you to AI, but I'm going to send you this spreadsheet. It's ridiculous. You could go to a higher ed marketer conference every month and even multiple ones in the month. It's overwhelming. who's it for? Is it any good? Is
Right.
it
Yes. All of
like I am like, well, wait, and I'm always discovering new ones. So there's student affairs specific ones, enrollment, financial aid, and then the big ones that we always hear so often about. There's also some that I think deserve way more credit that like may not be as well known. So
yeah, let's like dig into it, and especially the ones. I mean, there are ones that you hear about over and over again in a lot of the different circles that I'm in. But also if we can pause. So you've been going since graduate school to some of
actually since I'm a baby. I think I was going to like church conferences. I'm just like a conference
you
kid.
just came out of the womb and you started going to but the reason why I bring that up is that it sounds like you continue to like gain value from the conferences. Yes. And particularly you said NASPA. Can you tell us what that acronym sounds like stands for?
So it's so funny. It doesn't stand for what it actually is branded as. Oh. So it's NASPA, and that's basically for people in student affairs. Okay. But we are also seeing way more people in enrollment. Okay. Just an aside is if you need to really dig into technical skills of marketing and comms, unfortunately, that's not the conference for you. Okay, and this is also fine, right? But if you are new in the world of serving student affairs, or enrollment or student services, and you're an expert in Marcom, but now you need to become an expert in the student experience, 1,000% go to that conference. Okay. It's going to honestly fill a bucket for you that you may not have filled up as much. And I do think we need to get more, not only just because of the dollars that we spend on these, but we need to think about what is it I really need right now. Right. That isn't always knowledge and skill, too. I need to get to AMA because I miss my people. I have not got there for 2 years, and I just know, like,
go.
Yeah, that is a priority. So when I go there, I'm gonna have 2 to 3 core goals that I'm gonna walk away knowing that I got out of that conference what I needed. And that could be different again if I'm going as a learner to a conference to fill, like a knowledge and skill base.
Totally. And so we should say AMA is the American Marketing Association Symposium for the Marketing of Higher Education. It's a very long name. So I just said AMA. But everyone or people that are familiar with that conference just refer to it as AMA. And I should also note that I am on the planning committee currently for AMA, which is part of the reason why I thought of this topic, because I was just thinking there are so many and they're valuable, but let's talk about who's for what. And AMA is very specifically, I think it's for like digital, so it's like marketing. It's got a very marketing lens to it, right? But they're also, it's a conference that they want to offer content that is actionable, that you can take with you back to your school and use immediately. And they want to make sure it's valuable from the leadership perspective to like the entry level perspective.
Yeah,
right?
And what I love, because we're seeing more people in student affairs go to that conference and a few others, and they're walking away with tactics and overall, like even a campaign that they are then implementing. I love my student affairs conferences, but sometimes it's not like dry research, but it can be way more theoretical sometimes and not as applicable based upon like maybe like a case study. That's not always the case, but again, I really love Marcom conferences. Yes,
but it depends what you're needing and looking for, right?
Absolutely. I would also say, though, what has been a sticker shock for me is I find on average marketing communication conferences are much more expensive. Yeah. However, you get a lot more bang for your buck. So do look at what things come with. So the annual conference for NASPA that just happened, you hardly get food at all.
Okay.
And AMA, I'm pretty sure they're feeding you breakfast.
They are.
The socials, they're not joking around. That, when you start to add in those dollars and cents, it can make a big difference.
Okay.
I also so appreciate there's so many conferences in this area that see value in their presenters, and they provide discounts and or they'll waive your registration when you're presenting. Do not assume that in all areas when you are submitting something.
Okay, that's good to know too.
That is especially true. But then I'm also loving all these niche, smaller conferences that are out there. So Engage Summit is this June. I think you've presented there, right?
Yes.
Case Social Media and Community is also in June. I'm not sure where the size of that is. Forever ago, I was a faculty member. So think about size too, because AMA can be a little intimidating.
It can be big. That's true.
And there are a lot of campus partners there. Like their booth vendor is not a thing to like. Also, I could never afford to be a vendor in there and have a booth.
Interesting. Okay.
But like a lot of events go back into that area versus at a NASPA, I do not have to go down into the expo hall unless I don't know, for whatever reason I need to. So there's different cultures to these conferences too.
That's a great point. All right, time for a quick break to share about something big happening this summer. If you're tired of the same old conference buzz and want real playbooks and real momentum, you need to make it to Charlotte, North Carolina for Engage Summit 2026 this June 15th to 17th. Engage Summit is where you can take the next steps toward building the agentic campus with strategies you can start implementing today, workshops that sharpen your skills, and a community dedicated to transforming how higher ed supports and serves students. Whether you lead enrollment, student success, marketing, or tech, this is where higher ed stops talking about AI and starts implementing it. And the best part? Enrollify listeners like you can grab a ticket for 50% off. Yes, half off. Head to engage.element451.com and use the code Fowler50. That's FOWLER 50. Register now and build what's next. Now let's get back to the show. And Engage is largely AI and agentic AI focused, and I find Case is it's with the Case organization. I find that Case is highly academic in the sense that I feel like it's a lot of like resource development and enrollment focused. Right?
Yeah,
advancement. Yeah. Yes. And so I did go to some, but it's not the Case. The content there is not like 100% what I do.
I felt that when I was a faculty member. Yeah. I talked a lot about the student experience, and they're like, we don't want to hear. This was like 10 years ago. They're like, enough about students. We need to talk about our donors. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
I mean, they don't mess around. But if that's your focus, I think Cases, I
get it. And so you almost think about, I don't know, like your Amazon cart, right? Like there's some things you're subscribed to that you know are like your tried and trues. And then something else you're going to maybe try. And this may go back to like, what is literally your budget for your Amazon cart? Some of us have no budget. Some of us have some pennies or a refund that we can have credit for. I would say it's important to diversify. Yeah. If you're going to AMA every single year, I think you are missing out. For example, and we're not here as sponsors of AMA or Engage Summit, but there is something there, and the experience is going to be also totally different because of the size, because of the content focus, and also probably because of the place. So I would always like, if you can go to two, one can be your tried and true, and one is something you're trying out and expanding. And there's also more, like, let's say you do work with an agency like Carnegie. They do the Carnegie conference, bonus points, it's in Disney. Because we have to look at these things holistically too, like where things are located. We are also seeing way more ethical decisions needing to be involved if you are comfortable traveling to the place where a conference is physically located. That is something that conversation has been happening a long time in student affairs. I swear when I looked at this list, Jenny, half the conferences in 2026 are in Denver. I was laughing with Jenny Petty, the co-chair of AMA. She's like, well, maybe it's like the most like middle ground place. I'm like, oh, it is middle America.
No, I do find that it's a crazy coincidence that a lot of them are in Denver in 2026, right? Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
We're just gonna camp. We're just gonna camp out. Yeah.
I mean, it's gorgeous there. So, that's definitely doable. Yeah. I know NACAC. What does NACAC stand for? This is one I haven't gone to.
Okay, well, that is a quiz I'm going to fail.
Okay.
It's one, though, for enrollment. And
it is for,
counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, if you are in the business in your job of recruitment, this might be one you're going to want to explore because sessions there are going to be way more focused on that part of the student life cycle versus a NASPA that the sessions, if you go to marketing and comms, is all about current students and maybe a little bit on the alumni phase. So you could also look at what is my data telling me right now, what content I'm finding is resonating the most or not, or what audience do I need to focus more on? And that could be the other reason why you would pick a conference focus area that you're going to try.
Right. That is super logical.
No, but let's also not forget we've got virtual conferences that are happening too.
Thank you.
And that are free.
No, so before we get into that, I had to click on 3 different pages before I found what NACAC stands for on their website, and it's NACAC. So it's the National Association for College Admissions Counseling. Okay, so that makes sense.
And again, I've never been. I don't know what like the marketing track would look like, but just know that the core curriculum there is all going to be about that part of the funnel.
I mean, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And this is true. I'm so glad you brought this up. There are a ton of virtual conferences that are just available and are economical. They're free. One that I've been a part of a lot, I think it's called like Social Media Summit.
Yes. That company does a number of them in different industries. So they do one specifically for higher ed.
Okay.
And I think it's in the fall. AMA just did one that I'm assuming you can probably catch the recording too.
I think they are available. I think so.
Yeah. And then there is also like one-time workshops and webinars. Like conference is not the big Band-Aid that's going to like solve all your professional development. I don't want to say problems or possibilities.
No, but
dig into it.
I think that right now where budgets are really tight and being slashed and cut, I think that the virtual options are a great option to explore. For sure.
And so I was a chair of a regional conference in student affairs this last fall, the one that I attended when I was a little baby grad student. So it was like very full circle. And on the planner side, we had to work so hard to get people there. And we found that people are having to justify down to dollars and cents what food is provided, what's the sessions, what are the outcomes. So if you're listening on the planner side, thinking about how you can ease the ask for your attendance. I'm seeing a lot more of one sheet PDFs that you could, send around, but that people want to see the schedule a lot earlier in order to also say like, hey, this is the content I'm actually going to be learning here. We're also seeing integrations, and this might be a tip for some roles, is that, okay, if you're going to Denver, are there any leads for fundraising that you can meet with, or a young alumni group that you could meet up with, or a story you could capture of someone that graduated from MIT that you could actually go, to business they built and capture content.
That's a
that would
great
be
idea.
like the other angle of like, how can I make this a win-win? Because again, if we are paying for you to physically
Right.
go somewhere, and then I also would say, what's the win for your wellness too? You got to get to sessions. You got to do the stuff, but away conferences can be an opportunity for a moment of breath and rejuvenation.
Josie, it's so true. I enjoy traveling by myself so much.
Yeah, remember when I
Sorry
asked
to
you
my
if
family,
you
but
I asked you if you wanted to room that one AMA, and you're like, no. I was like, no, I get it. It's fine.
I believe you. Now I'm like, I can't believe I said no, but
No, it's
but I
totally,
believe.
it's totally
I think it's just that. Oh my gosh, I never. Some moms you don't, or many moms you don't get me time at all.
caretakers and just being away from the campus for a minute. There is value that you can acknowledge of that piece too.
That is a great point to bring up. So, Josie, how do you make the most? I know you kind of have been mentioning tips here and there, but when you go, say you find the conference you want to attend, how do you make the most out of your experience when you do go?
Yeah. I think this is a really good question, as our calendars get filled so quickly, and then all of a sudden you're on a plane to a conference and you're like, okay, now I'm doing this thing, is to realize that the conference starts before you get on that airplane or arrive or log in, and there can be real value there from most of them have some sort of conference app.
Mm-hmm.
So for like planners like me that need to know the schedule
Yes.
and like add it to my thing.
I'm the same.
But then you can follow people that are attending or speakers, and to bring it out of the app though too, and letting people know on LinkedIn that you're going and like who else is going to be there. Ask for recommendations for food. You're going to hear me say a lot about connections and community is the absolute secret sauce of conferences and not the content. And you could start to do that much earlier. There's also a lot, like AMA I know does this, has some info sessions. If maybe you're feeling a little anxious or just want to be a little bit informed, especially if it's your first time. Many conferences have like a first time attendee session in person. Mm-hmm. And then I am a huge fan of going to a pre-conference session. I know we did one that you get just like a double dose of tactics with a little bit more time. And what I also love is you get to meet a couple people that then you go to the opening with, or like grab breakfast. Like it's just an extra, and I understand there's more costs to those, but the biggest cost honestly is going to be travel. And so if you can find a pre-con, I absolutely think they're valuable if they align.
Yeah, I would agree.
Needs.
They are, it's money, but I think it's worth it. They provide a lot of value. I one thing I would say too is some of the conferences, the rooms get full really fast, right? So
book your hotel.
Right. Well, book that, but also like the presentation rooms. Like there's some speakers where they actually will. You have to sort of RSVP.
I'm sure that was your room.
For I hope so, but you have to RSVP for, and sometimes they do get full. And one thing I learned was if you're first, like, have a plan B. Like if your first choice is full or it's already at capacity, have a plan B. I think has always been helpful for me, because I have, like you said, life gets really busy. You're working, and then all of a sudden you're on the airplane, right? Yeah. And now I'm doing my scheduling on the app, and then I'm like, oh no, that's booked already. Probably because like very prepared people like you have already secured their spot. So I that
might be something unique to AMA though that I don't always see.
Okay,
that like you have to show a reservation, like a massage or something. But,
I
Also,
love how
on the
massage is the first thing that comes to mind for
Obviously.
reservation. But you know how you said try different conferences, right? And for me, I like to go to a lot of industry, not just higher ed, but industry conferences,
absolutely.
because I just feel like they're more on the cutting edge of technology and sort of trends than higher ed tends to
Yep.
be, and especially in digital and social media, right? That's what I'm
glad
looking
you said
for.
that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of industry conferences, you know, and some of them are huge, like South by Southwest, if you've ever gone to that. And so that you really have to have like a plan B, because like the you know, sessions fill up, or they might fill up really fast. So
on the other side of that, I would say, don't go to everything. I know we are all A students, but you do not get a scorecard at the end of this.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know, like, I got to get to the gym and then I'll hit the second session of the day, or, you know, you don't have to go to every single social.
True. Yeah.
Have food in your room. Like, take care of your mind, body, and energy, because you know you're headed home to more work.
Yeah.
And like, that's life work too. So I've heard a lot of people get sick after conferences, just not obviously interacting, but
just because you've been like, I always say it's like I extrovert very hard during conferences, and then afterwards I'm just like, oh my, you know, it is exhausting. It's exhilarating and it's exhausting at the same time.
Well, and to add kind of an element to that is leave room for the in-between. I find the most powerful stuff doesn't happen, and planning committees hate me for this, in keynotes or in conference rooms. It's in the in-between. It's at breakfast. It's at the bar. It's in breakout sessions where you're like really getting, like, it's all glue that brings us to collective, but this is where the community stuff happens. And if you got to allow yourself to kind of be open to that. And that also is me nudging like the more senior leaders who are listening, or people that have gone to these conferences a million times. There's just as many people that this is their first time, and to be an includer in that in between. Because there can be some clickiness.
Yes.
We love a good reunion. But just remember what your first conference was like, and the sticky stuff that happened in those relational moments. And we just want to keep building community, and we got to keep our arms open in order to do that.
Yeah, no, yes. Thank you for that. That's a great reminder. Is there anything else that you think we should cover, or any call out of any other conferences we haven't mentioned?
I think you're a really great example of this is get involved. So you now are on the planning committee, but also as a first timer or a long timer, many of these need volunteers for registration, for the opening ceremony. This is also the in-betweens where you can meet people. In addition to giving back and being on leadership opportunities, have, again, transformed my life and my career, and some of my strongest relationships have come from volunteering within associations, which typically many conferences in higher ed are affiliated with, not always. So, like, for example, you can join AMA or Digital Collegium. I can never say that one. It used to be Digico.
Yeah, okay.
Digico.
Which I think is Collegium.
Which, again, you can volunteer for and get involved in committees. Like, that is where the roots go even deeper.
And CASE isn't, like you said, totally. they're all organizations.
Yeah. This last one, and when this acronym came to my mind, I smiled really big, is define your ROCCA. Not your ROI, but your return on conference attendance. And this is something personal to you. That is going to be, what do you need to get out of this conference that you're going to walk away to know I met my ROCCA? So it's not the amount of conference sessions that you went to. Maybe it's the amount of people that you met, that you went to bed every night at 9 because you knew you needed that. You're going to have to show the return on investment to your supervisor and to your campus. But again, what is something that is going to make you feel like you got what you needed out of this? Holistically. Don't just go to go. Have some intention behind it.
No, I love that. Return on conference attendance. Yeah. ROCCA. I love that.
So I'm a rapper. So, rock away.
I love it. So Josie, what is your confession?
I could go, so I did say that there's a conference literally every other week in higher ed.
Yeah.
Minus all the travel, I think I could go to conferences for a living. I love it. I am a learner on Strengths Quest, if anyone's done that, Strengths Finder or whatever, and connection. So it gives me all of those things, and I have to really hold myself back.
So
on it,
I follow you on social channels, and I see you traveling a lot, and I'm just like, how does she do it? But now it fuels you.
It does, yeah.
Wow.
I'm technically an ambivert, so I go extrovert, introvert.
Yes, I would say that I am.
I can't make a choice.
Yeah, I'm
an
ambivert too. So
yeah. I would do conferences all the time.
Wow.
I just love it so much.
Okay, so maybe you can find that job where you can get paid to go to conferences
Yeah. Well, now I go to conferences to hopefully get
network
contacts.
Yeah.
And contracts.
I mean, but
it is all business.
It's network. It's just the networking, right? There's so much value there.
That leads to my net worth.
I love that. Josie, thank you so much for your wisdom and your tips and just your essence. Thank you for sharing you with us.
Oh, you're welcome. I can't wait to see you hopefully soon at a conference.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Thanks for listening to Confessions of a Higher Ed Social Media Manager. This show is a proud member of the Enrollify Network, home to Higher Ed's largest collection of podcasts. Enrollify is where higher ed goes to grow, so be sure to check out our other podcasts, webinars, video clips, blogs, and more. Visit enrollify.org and subscribe for all the latest details and content drops directly to your inbox. Enrollify is brought to you by Element 451, the digital workforce platform for higher ed. Learn more at element451.com.